Welcome to the Get Better in Chelmsford podcast. I'm Rich, and today I'm joined by Jason Shuttleworth from the Woodland Group, a global supply chain business headquartered right here in Chelmsford, with around 900 people worldwide. You've seen the lorries, now let's find out what's really going on inside them. Welcome, Joe.
Thank you.
Let's open up with, I think Woodland Group is one of those businesses that people probably see all over Essex, right? You see the trucks if we're down the road, the name, might have seen it at the cricket or whatever, but probably no one really actually realises what it is. So people that don't know, just what's Woodland? So
like traditionally, Woodland would call themselves a freight forwarder because that's like the traditional name for what we do. But in sort of more modern day, we'd call ourselves sort of a global supply chain and logistics company. And basically, to dig that into a bit more detail, we sort of sit at the centre of like global trade. So we work with manufacturers, suppliers, importers, exporters, ports, airports, pretty much everyone that works within global supply chain. We sort of sit in the middle and deal with all the challenges.
And if you had to really, really dumb that down for people,
okay,
what are we doing from a day-to-day basis? Why does that make a difference to anything in the world?
So I suppose to dumb it down, everything you see, touch, has been part of a supply chain. And we sit in the middle of that and facilitate the movement between countries.
So if you don't, nothing actually gets anywhere, right?
Pretty much, yeah. That's become the role of a freight forwarder in the modern era.
Yeah, and what kind of scale are we talking about? So give us an idea of how big are Woodland?
So we're operating now globally at about 900 people across the UK, USA, Ireland, and Asia. The company, we started in 1988 and have pretty much grown organically since then. But yeah, in the UK, we've got probably about 200 people now.
Nice. So would we...
Sorry, not 200 people.
Not 200.
We've got about 700 people in the UK. Yeah, a lot more than 200.
That's a lot. That's a lot. So would we describe ourselves as being like quite a well-kept secret then?
I would say in terms of within Essex, it's well known like internally that sort of the way that we've branded ourselves hasn't always shouted out freight forwarder. Mm-hmm. And it's something we're working on at the minute. But as we are operating now, 12 offices in the UK, Chelmsford is the HQ, but we don't just see ourselves as a Essex business.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, but as I say, you run it from Chelmsford, the roots are here.
Yeah.
And I think you started in Basildon.
Yeah, so our owner, Kevin Stevens, his company that he was working for went under. Kevin bought their phone number, as you could back in the day. Started out at Basildon, soon moved to Brentwood, that was home for several years, and then expanded into the warehousing sector. So we had our HQ in Coggeshall, then moved to Chelmsford about 15 years ago. And Chelmsford has been home since.
And do you have a view on how each move perhaps shaped the business or the evolution of the business through those times, and what makes Chelmsford the right home now, I guess?
Well, I think that obviously as the company grew, we scaled, and we moved from a two-person office to an office in Brentwood High Street for I think 20 to 30 people. And then the warehousing side of the business which is such an important side of the business, came into play. And then Chelmsford became home. Typically, so what happened was we obviously took staff from Brentwood to Coggeshall. The journey was sort of quite long going to Coggeshall every day. So Chelmsford just sort of sat in the middle.
Yeah.
And great sort of great lines into London. From a train point of view, you're right on the A12, close to the M25. It just works for us.
Yeah, and I guess that works from the point of the fact that you do logistics, having all of that on your doorstep, and 100%. The fact that people can get into the office, out of the office, and
That's the
shifting
thing.
700 bums around is quite a lot, right?
That's the thing as well. And in terms of like being based Chelmsford, Essex, you're so close to London Gateway Port, Felixstowe Port, Tilbury Docks. You're close to Stansted Airport, not too far from Heathrow Airport.
Yeah.
So from a sort of a HQ in the UK, it just works well.
And in a world that's so connected, phones, internet, Teams, does it still matter that we're close to those locations?
Yeah, it does. It does. Sort of, where we stand out from other companies in our space is we're close to the product. We understand the product. Having the warehouse inside of the business means that we can have our hands on the product. Just seeing, for instance, and this is sort of industry talk, a pallet size on a piece of paper saying how much it weighs can be a lot different when you view it. The kind of cargo we move in terms of the sensitivity around it, the hazardous cargo, stuff like that. Yeah, it's important to still be close to these places. And we're also operating about 300 trucks on the UK roads as well. So that's an important part of the business.
Yeah. And thinking back then, so you've been with Woodland for just over 2 decades.
Yeah, when you say it like that. Yeah, 21 years, yeah. Well,
What's kept you there? Like what's that journey looked like?
That's a good question. Look, I know it's very cliche, but the people, like, it's testament to you look at the time that the majority of people have been at Woodland, and people have had a good innings. That's a cricket quote for you there.
We'll get to the cricket.
Yeah, it's the people. It really is, and the opportunity. So, I've been lucky enough to have worked in different places in the world. I've been lucky enough to be put through business school. Been lucky enough to have been on several courses that have been shaped individually for me. So it's not just one size sort of fits all. It's more developing people as So that's the main thing for me, to be honest.
And would you say, obviously 2 decades in the industry, would you say that's quite...
Can we say 21 years?
We can say 21 years. Would you say that level of care from what I would describe as quite an industrial kind of industry,
yeah,
is that normal? Like, is Woodland an outlier in the sense of how it treats its people and looks after that? Because I've not heard a story like that before.
No, look, I'm very close with a lot of people at other companies within our industry, and it's a very well connected industry. It's a very social industry. There's a lot of great companies out there like Woodland. One thing that Woodland has done is not just invested into people from sort of courses and stuff like that. We've created an environment for people where, okay, when times are tough, you can't do things like always do pay rise and stuff like that, but we've created an environment for people where they want to come to work. There's good incentives around health. There's good incentives around things you can do with your families outside of work. And I think that's super important sometimes, because it's not all about pay rises and stuff like that. It's about what you can do for people outside of that kind of stuff.
And what would you say, since you've been there, have been like the biggest changes? How's it really evolved?
So, credit to Kevin, our owner. The business is pretty much organically grown through his entrepreneurship. I know, honestly, the culture has not changed. And going from, I think when I started at Woodland, there would have been, let's throw a number out there, like probably 150, 200 people. And I honestly do not believe the culture's changed. And that word gets thrown out a lot, doesn't it, in business? But I haven't seen that much of a shift in terms of going from, being a family-owned business, like in terms of that is not changed since I've been there.
Yeah, I mean, I think Essex is probably quite intrinsically linked with entrepreneurship, family-based businesses. I don't think we should. I think that's a real plus point, actually. 100%. I don't think we should hide behind that or be shy about stating that. my personal experience is obviously Kevin is he's very much part of the day-to-day of that.
Yep.
So do you think that's why the culture hasn't changed, because he's still in control of it?
No, because in terms of, Kevin is very much involved in the day-to-day, but he's sort of handed over specific parts of the business for people to run with their own ideas and their own decisions. I just think it's the way that he's built the business and built the people, and it's anyone that knows Kevin inside and outside of work would all say the same thing, whether that's someone that he met 15 years ago and he gave him 5 minutes of their time just to run over an idea with him, or someone that he met yesterday. So no, I just think it's the way that Kevin's built it, but it's in terms of the day-to-day, everybody sort of has their own, can have their own ideas and run with them. And
do you feel a sense of responsibility to keep that culture going then? Because obviously you're in a fairly senior leadership role at the business. So do you think, oh God, I've got to exact to those same standards? I can't let anything down. I can't let anything slide. I
think yes and no. Like in terms of there's so many like-minded people in the business around that. So we're extremely lucky there. The management team in Woodland bounces off each other really well. We debate and we have constructive meetings, but it's just it's the right fit, and everybody's in it for the same goal ultimately. And again, that's credit to Kevin again in the way that he's trained and built the business.
Nice. And you mentioned a minute ago about living abroad, working abroad. That's an opportunity that came from Woodland.
Yep.
It's quite unique. Not everyone gets to experience that. So tell us a little bit about that.
So when I was 21, I got the opportunity to go and live in New York. I had told the world in person and on Facebook, I believe at the time, that I'm going to live in Manhattan. I'm going to live the dream. I'd never been to America before either. So I arrived with great guy, big mentor for me, my old boss, Andrew Scott. So we arrive at Newark Airport. Andrew's already living out there, and I've got 2 nights in a hotel at Newark Airport to find myself accommodation in New Jersey, which is a great place to live. But the one thing they said to me was, just don't leave the hotel at night. And I was like, okay, great. And this is all part of building me as a person, because, again, look, it was 18 years ago, but it was quite well known that I'd told the world that I was moving to Manhattan and going to live in the big smoke, whereas the reality was I was going to learn my trade in a warehouse in Bayonne, New Jersey. So that was the start of my journey in America. Fortunate enough to live out there for 8 years. Loads of different sort of opportunities, different life journeys I had when I was there. But that's the real story.
Did you learn everything you knew out there? So obviously spending 8 years out there.
Yeah.
Is that where you really learned the trade?
I wouldn't say the trade, but I learned a lot about myself. And I think that came in here hand in hand, in terms of I become much more responsible as a person, much more mature. But no, look, it was a huge learning curve. I didn't do university. I hadn't spent much time away from home. So going straight into that, there was tears. There was me ringing our owner Kevin up, saying I want to come home after a month, I think, after all the buzz sort of wore off. But again, just being around the right people, as I mentioned, that Andrew, who I moved out there with, was huge for me. He taught me so much, and he was that person to lean on while I was out there. So it wasn't easy, but I'm so glad I did it. And then later on in my career, I got to do it again with a different kind of in a different stage of my life. And again, learned so much from that as well.
Where did you go that time?
So again, we moved, me and my wife moved out to New York. I was again more senior in the company at the time. And that's when I started working more on the commercial side. We had our first daughter out in New York. Again, huge life learning when we did that. But yeah, I feel that time did help sort of elevate me from a career point of view, because it was just a lot more real, if that makes sense.
No, it does. So what do you think the big cultural differences are, say New York versus Essex?
Do you know what, right? It's language, believe it or not. Language, not just in terms of talking, but how you conduct yourself. Certain words you can use and certain words you can't use. I won't use them on the podcast, but that kind of thing. Mentality. It was, so culturally it was such a shock.
Yeah.
Being out there, just conversations in terms of, I'd always lead a conversation here in the UK when I'm stuck a bit with football, but that was a completely different side of it. So for me it was language, I would say. And
your experiences of doing that in New York, and then obviously you've travelled extensively with Woodland across the world.
Yep.
How do you think your cultural shock in New York has prepared you for landing in different continents?
It's probably a bit different in terms of, like, I've learned a lot over the years, like traveling with mentors and stuff, on how to conduct yourself in different countries and stuff, because again, I would never be taught that, especially when you're out in Asia and places like that. But it taught me a lot. It taught me that not everyone's from Brentwood in Essex.
No, but after all of that, you travel, and obviously you went away recently. You've done 2 stints in New York and all that. I think you've done Asia recently, you've done Turkey recently, haven't you? You keep coming back to Essex. Yeah. So Essex is home, right? What's special about, we'll say Brentwood, we'll say Chelmsford, Essex? What keeps coming back?
It's home. Like, yeah, that's it. Like, you don't, like, again, like, didn't do university and stuff like that, but you don't realise how important home is until you're not there, and you miss a lot. Like, but yeah, family and home, I would say, is the reason.
Yeah. Are you away a lot?
Yes and no. Like, in terms of, I would say probably a quarter a year over the year. Spend a lot of time still in America.
Yeah.
Visiting sort of our offices over there. Go to Asia every year. But I think I miss home more and more now that obviously I have children and stuff like that.
Indeed.
But again, what's been so good doing travelling with work over the years is that, like, colleagues and stuff like that, they are like family, really. So when I'm out in the States, when I'm overseas in China and stuff, like, we're so close as a company. Mm-hmm. Again, you'd never think there's 900 Woodlanders when you spend time with them, because it feels like there's just 5 of you.
Yeah, I get that. Having spent a lot of time with a lot of them, I get that. I do. What is the perception of Essex from outside Essex then? So you go over to China, or you go over to Central Europe, you go over to New York. What does everyone think of us?
Well, whenever I tell anybody I'm from Essex, they laugh.
Why?
So I don't know. I think it's when you sort of, maybe more because of the Brentwood sort of Towery connection.
It's a tough one to shake, isn't it?
It's a tough one to shake. Especially when, I think my first summer in New York was the summer that Jersey Shore came out in America. And my first summer we spent down on Jersey Shore, and I'd tell people that I was from Brentwood in Essex. And it was a bit of a running joke. But no, I think there's that perception of cheeky, like, jokey, but definitely hardworking. Like, that is definitely, like, I would say more from a national point of view. But it is. It's when you tell people from Essex, they laugh, but it's more from from a reality TV standpoint.
Has it ever stopped a deal? Like, has it ever caused a problem? Like when you're over there, you're like, I can't take that seriously, or no, I don't want to work with that.
It's a good talking point. Like, I'm obviously in sales, so you can spin that. Like, they're interested more than anything, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's
So it stops the football. It stops the need for the football conversation. When you talk about Towie or
yeah. If anyone asks you about West Ham, I say, "Oh, do you like Towie?"
So diving into some specifics then around Woodland, because there's a few things to chat about here, and I think one of the best ways I think to perhaps articulate what it is that you guys do is you literally move millions of books around the world.
Yep.
So talk to us about how that works, because you are pretty much you're the number one kind of in that space in a sense, right?
So over the years we developed specific verticals that we became strong in, and at one point I think there was 20 companies within the Woodland Group. So we had and this is where we're getting to the books point. It originally started as a company called Bookbridge, a guy called John Russell, and Kevin Stevens, and John had worked in the publishing industry for years, and that was his sort of niche within freight forwarding, and that's gone on as we brought sort of all of them companies together as Woodland Group, Woodland Global, Woodland Logistics. To be our number one commodity, we moved globally. We're working with the main publishing houses in the world. We're moving books from China to the UK, UK to China, China to the US, US to China, like all over the world, India, Singapore, South Africa, Brazil. And it's just become a consistent product for us as a company. It's pretty much recession proof in terms of we're working with all of the universities and stuff, so educational books will always be needed. It survived the Kindle. When the Kindle first came out, our volumes rarely dipped during that time, and it's a specialist product to move. It's not just a pallet of freight. There's so much more that goes into moving a pallet or a shipment of books. Yeah. So we've become a specialty. We've got specialists within it. We wouldn't just hire a normal freight forwarder off the street to work within our media division because it is so specialist.
Is that because books have they're precious, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole community, a whole world of people out there that the tangibility of a book. Is that why it's so sensitive? Is there a premium for it?
It's again, we're always working towards deadlines with books. So when we're doing major book launches, obviously security and stuff like that comes into play. Yeah. You're working on specific release deadlines. A pallet of books that's being released in a month's time for, let's say, a high profile celebrity that can't just touch our warehouse and sit in our warehouse, because if that got leaked, we'd be in serious trouble. So like that kind of thing, like you have to dig a bit deeper when it comes to that product. Similar to the entertainment industry, like vinyl records is, I think, our second largest commodity we move worldwide, and exactly the same for an album launch. So there's just a lot more that goes into it.
Yeah, are they the stories that you tell down the pub where people are like, "What do you do?" You know, that's what you actually tell them, rather than yeah. Because I guess the thing is, you see trucks on the road, but you probably never really think there actually could be something really interesting in that truck.
That's it. Like historically, like let's say pre-Brexit, our industry was seen to be very boring. Is probably the right word. Mm-hmm. And then since Brexit, what we do as freight forwarders, as supply chain experts, is front page. It's been front page news ever since, with the wars that are going on in the world, COVID, Brexit, tariffs. Yeah. We're at the centre of that, and we have to be so in tune with everything that's going on in the world and making sure that we're giving the right advice. Because everybody has access to that front page, has access to CNN, BBC. So everybody's become an expert in our field. sort of overnight, really.
Yeah.
So the job has become so much more complex.
Wow. And I guess on the flip side of that, and I know, self-confessed, no big expert on it, but you've also got the pressures of your flying books, you hauling them down the road, you're sticking them on a train, planes, boats, all that kind of thing, and producing all of this negativity into the world.
Yep.
So sustainability has become a balancing act as well, right?
Huge. So like we've got our own sustainability team led up by a guy called Sam, and he's worked so hard since he's come into the business on making sure that message is coming across in the right way. Because there's no secret, we work in air freight and sea freight. But the tools that are out there now that we can offer partners and clients are just they're sort of one step beyond that. So the way that we like to express sort of our sustainability journey is through our accreditations. So we're gold in an accreditation called Hazardous, which you have to tick certain boxes in terms of what you're doing as a business, not just through removing plastic, putting solar panels on your warehouses, but what you're doing also with people and stuff like that. So sustainability is a buzzword. Sustainability is a word that everybody likes to say they're working towards, but for us, it's the accreditations. They speak for themselves, really, in terms of we can put something on our website about what we're doing, but things like EcoVadis and that do really stand out.
Yeah, and does that translate across the world? Are they all the same?
Yep.
Everyone cares about sustainability in the same way?
No, I wouldn't say they do. I'd say the UK are up there with some of the leaders in what they're trying to do. The US, not so much. But yeah, what we're doing here in the UK, we're translating throughout the business. So regardless of how focused each country is, the standard is here, and we're setting it across the whole business because it's coming down the road for everyone in terms of what needs to be done to make the world a better place.
No, I get that, and I guess that gives you real advantage when you're, again, situated here in Essex with those kind of standards, and we're being accountable to all of those badges and marks, as you say. I guess that, coupled with the complexity of being able to understand something like the publishing sector, where there are safeguards and deadlines and stuff, gives it. I guess that makes it quite a compelling story globally for you to go out and sell.
Definitely. We've learned so much as a business from the publishing industry, and I feel that our experience within that sector translates easily into others.
Yeah. And I guess from a commercial perspective, that's a great insight into what you're doing. But you've also talked about the great culture at Woodland. And then I guess there's these other bits that come in for me, which you talk about sport and football, but actually that's not where we're going to go. We're going to go to cricket, weirdly.
Yeah.
There's a great story, and I just want to understand why you support some of the things that you do, because obviously you guys put a lot of, and we'll be blunt with it, you put a lot of hard-earned cash into things like Essex Cricket and some of the charity works that you do, which also you can talk about. So how does that fit in to Woodland's story? So
I think it was about 15 years ago when we first moved to Chelmsford as our HQ from Coggeshall and Colchester. We wanted to do something within the community. And Essex Cricket just stood out. We started very small with them, just sponsoring some boards around the ground and tables at specific games and stuff. And just, from day one, like the partnership was exactly what we wanted. It's grown from strength to strength. We've been working with them now for 15 years. Been doing the shirts for about 10, I think. But it's just so much more than that.
Yeah.
It's not just sponsoring a shirt. It's not just going down to the T20 on a Friday. It's the work that sort of we do with them, the great work that they do in the community, the wider sort of network that it creates. And again, going back to people at Woodland, like being able to say to our teams in the UK, take your family to go to the cricket this weekend and stuff like that, and Essex facilitate that, not just through Essex Cricket Club, through cricket clubs throughout the nation. So they have key partnerships with every cricket club. It's a small community. It's not like the football community. So for us, look, from day one, perfect partnership.
Yeah, and it's not just about the commercials, so it goes way beyond that. So, it's nice to go down there, as you say, but you guys take quite great pride in the fact that you're associated with it. 15 years is a hell of a long time to commit.
Yeah. So look, I'm a massive Essex cricket fan. So it's
previously because of?
Previously, yeah. So my dad's taken me down to the county ground since I was little. I was always a terrible cricketer, I can admit that, but I've always loved it. So yeah, when we started working with them, it was for me like all in.
Yeah.
But yeah, just everything about the club and Woodland works. People, the way they work as a business, it's a perfect partnership.
Yeah, and then extending further from that, you also work with some charities and stuff. So you do some stuff with Penathlon. Yeah,
so Penathlon's our main charity partner for the UK. Penathlon supports children with SEND and gives them sporting opportunities. Mm-hmm. I'm very close with Ashley, the founder of Penathlon, and he's inspirational. What he's built in the time that he's built Penathlon it's incredible. I think they're putting on over 600 events a year in the UK. So it's a national charity now, giving everybody the chance to win that first place, second place, third place medal, and just seeing the light and that it brings the children's just honestly, like doing the events is just it's amazing. Seeing the work they do, seeing the time they give up. So Penathlon are our number one charity. We do everything we can to support them. Mm-hmm. We host an annual golf day. I think this year we've got 144 people playing. Look, it's people like Ashley. Unbelievable.
Do you see, Jay, some parallel in this, that the opportunities that you're able to try and give people through Penathlon, Essex Cricket, because of Woodland? Do you see some parallels in the fact that 21-year-old Jay was given a chance at Woodland?
Yeah, in a way. Like most people would have said that I was going to last 5 minutes, which is to be fair, like I don't blame him looking back. Look, it's creating opportunities is one of our taglines, and we will only work with partners, whether they're freight forwarding partners, charity partners, sporting partners. We will only work with them if they sort of share the same values as us. And Essex, Penathlon, Essex and Hearts, Air Ambulance, they share the same values as Woodland, so it just works.
So do you think if someone's flying down the A12 and they see a blue Woodland lorry,
yep,
it might not be the cleanest lorry on the road right now or whatever, do you think as someone passes that on the A12 that they would have any idea of the complexities, the scale, the size of Woodland, the contribution to community, the amount of people they employ, and ultimately pay mortgages of people, and the contribution to local economy? Do you think anyone would have an idea?
No, do you know what? It's once you've met Woodland, you can't stop seeing our trucks. So you dig a bit deeper. But like I mentioned previously in the thing, in the podcast, we're working hard at the minute on that brand awareness, because sort of over the years we've had some great taglines. We've had some suspect logos. But I think it's all about evolving as a business, right? In terms of like, we've learned a lot about ourselves year on year. But yeah, once you do see a Woodland vehicle, you can't stop seeing it. I had a message yesterday from someone in Hampshire. He said, just can't stop seeing a Woodland vehicle.
It's a fantastic advertising
Yeah,
mechanic,
it's our best
isn't it,
marketing
right?
tool. It's having them trucks on the road. Again, like doing the great work that the drivers do. It's our best marketing tool, because once you see one, you can't stop seeing them.
Yeah. And what do we think the next 21 years holds for you?
To keep growing.
Yeah.
Really, yeah. So, like, again, very fortunate to be going back to business school this summer. To keep learning, to keep evolving, and yeah, look, I want to grow with the company. Like, a few of us were talking the other day that have all been there sort of 20 years, and we said we're all in, because we've been given such an amazing opportunity. There's so much flexibility. And yeah, just seeing how, again, globally it's evolved in the years we've been there. So when we started, we would have had, when I started, we would have had Ireland. That was our first overseas office. We had 4 offices in the US. But again, since then, we've gone to grow the USA. And in more recent years, opened our offices in Asia.
Yeah.
And again, Kevin's drive to grow the business and to support the 900 people that he supports hasn't gone away.
Yeah. So we just think it's perhaps the perfect mix of good product, good culture, right people, ready to go again.
Yeah, I think so. I think that, like, obviously, like, our industry in the since Brexit, again, I said earlier, it's changed a lot, but it's become so much harder for people working, operating jobs and stuff like that. It's so much more complex. Everybody, like I said, is an expert now because it's front page news, which is fair. But the stuff outside of that, if we continue to support people outside of the day-to-day, I think that's what will keep sort of the brand as strong as it is.
Yeah. Well, having first-hand experience of the brand, I can attest and back up everything you said. It just feels different. I always tell people the one thing, probably it may or may not be the one thing you actually want me to tell people about Woodland, but whenever I walk into your offices, Kevin will always find me.
Yeah.
Come and shake your hand, say whether he's walking by, he's just like, don't need anything, don't want anything, just want to say hi. And I tell people that's the story I tell everyone about Woodland, rightly or wrongly. But been great to have you on, Jay. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Thank you.
Cheers.